Good morning. Today we're going to be doing lesson 12:4, and this is the last lesson that we will do in topic 12. And so there's going to be some extra pages in your packet. You can put those to the side and then you can practice with those on your own time. You don't have to upload anything to Seesaw. I'm just trying to pick the most important lessons that I think we need to get to with the shortened school year and the shortened amount of time that we have each school day. So if you don't have out this page already, look in your packet and find lesson 12:4. It is called Continue to Measure Length. And your I can statement today says that I can use cubes and other units to compare lengths and heights of objects. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You will need your cubes that I sent home in your black bags with you. So you're going to need this and this paper. Make sure you use these cubes. You cannot get the correct answers without using them, and that's why I sent them home for you to have. And so let's get started. So if we look at our green box, it says to use cubes to measure the length and the height of a poster. Tell whether the poster is longer or taller. And longer goes with length and taller goes with height. So this is the length of the poster and this is the height of the poster. So we're going to use our cubes to measure and decide, is that poster longer or is it taller? So I'm just going to take my cubes and I'm going to break off about how many I think the poster is going to be long, and I'm going to line the cubes up with the line that goes across the bottom of the poster. So it's about 3 cubes long, okay? And then I'm going to use my other cubes and I'm going to measure, and I need to take some off. I'm going to line it up at the bottom and the top, and I'm going to measure the height or how tall the poster is. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes tall and 3 cubes long. So down at the bottom, I would say the poster is blank, then it is blank. So would I put longer or taller in my first blank? Okay. If you said taller, you're correct. So my sentence would read, the poster is taller than it is long. Okay. And I can write those on there for you. Both of those words are in the green box at the top of the page, but this is what it should look like and should read, the poster is taller than it is long. Okay. All right, so let's go on and flip to the next page. And let's look at those green boxes. Okay. So our first green box says you can measure objects to compare and order their lengths. So earlier last week we were working on things that were longer, shorter. Now we've done taller and longer. So we can measure objects and put them in order and compare them. This is the longest, this is the shortest, this is the tallest, however it is that we're being asked to compare. Okay, so we have a paintbrush, we have an eraser, and we have a marker. If I use my cubes to measure, now this is not an accurate scale, so we're just going to talk about it, because if I use my cubes, it's not going to match up with what they're showing you right there on this example. Okay, so it says again, you can measure objects to compare and order their lengths. So we've got our paintbrush, our eraser, and a marker, and it says the eraser is about 3 cubes long. Okay, so if we were measuring a real eraser, it would be about 3 cubes long, which would look like this. And when you think about your pink chunky erasers at school, they're about that long. Okay, the marker is about 6 cubes long, which would look like this. Okay, so eraser, marker. Okay, the paintbrush is about 8 cubes long, which would look like this. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger. It's all of my cubes in my stick except for 2. Okay, so if the eraser is 3 cubes long and the marker is 6 cubes long and the paintbrush is 8 cubes long, it says the paintbrush is longer than the marker and the eraser. And we can see that too when we look here, okay? But if we need a measurement, we have to use some kind of resource or tool to help us measure, okay? So the objects are in order from longest, being the paintbrush, to shortest, being the eraser. And we have the paintbrush, then the marker, and then the eraser. So we put them in order, or they started out with them in order from longest and then to shortest, and then in the middle, they put them in order from longest to shortest, so they had to change the order that they started out with: paintbrush, then marker, and then eraser, okay? And let's look at the Do You Understand Show Me box. It says, how do you know which object is shorter? How do you know which object is longer? So you can pause the video and you can talk to your parents or whoever's there with you to tell them, how do you know which object is shorter and which object is longer? Okay, and then let's look at our guided practice. It says, find each object in your classroom, measure the length of cubes. So we're going to have to make a little bit of a modification with this assignment because we are not in our classroom, okay? Probably somewhere in your house you have a bookshelf. If not, you could use maybe the cabinet that your TV is sitting on, okay? And measure it with your cubes, okay? That means you'll have to take, let me show you real quick. You'll have to take, you've got 2 sticks of cubes, okay? So if I were measuring my easel, okay, I would start out at the very bottom, line it, my cubes up at the bottom, okay, and then I'm gonna have to hold my finger kind of where they end because I don't have enough cubes to go all the way up. If we were at school, you would have, because you could work in groups. Then pick it up, line it up here again. Okay, so that would be, so far that's 40 cubes long. And then pick it up, line it up again. So my easel would be about 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45 cubes tall, okay? So that's kind of how you'll measure something in your house. If you do not have a bookshelf to measure and you measure a TV stand, whatever your TV is sitting on, or probably maybe hanging above, but if you have some kind of cabinet under your TV and that's what you measure, mark through this and make a note out here on your paper that tells me what you actually measured, okay? So your desk, you can measure a desk that you have in your house, okay? On the back side, you're going to, again, find each object in your classroom and use cubes to measure how tall it is. So this, you might measure a calendar that you have, if you have a calendar hanging in your house, or if you have a poster or a picture, you know about how big our calendar is in our classroom. If you have one of those things, something about that size at home, just mark through calendar, write over here what you're actually measuring, and tell me how many cubes tall it is, okay? This would be a table. It could be maybe a coffee table in the living room. It could be your kitchen table. I would probably do the smaller of the two just because you only have 2 sticks of cubes and it's going to take a little bit of moving and manipulating to measure those. And then a chair. This is a student chair at school. You'll have to measure a chair that you, maybe the chair that you sit in to do your homework or your classwork at home. And then a trash can, okay? And then number 8 at the bottom says, order the objects from shortest to tallest. So you're, out of the 4 objects that you measure, you're going to have to write the name of the object. So if you measure a picture instead of a calendar, you need to write picture here, okay? Or wherever it should go, okay? So you're going to actually write the name of picture or calendar, table, chair, trash can, things like that. You'll use those words on these lines and order 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 things that you measure here, you're ordering them from shortest to tallest, okay? You're going to upload this picture. When you upload your picture, I want you to make sure that you see how I'm holding this straight into the camera. I want you to make sure that you have your iPad straight over that so that when I read or try to read it, it's not angled like this. When you take pictures like this, it's very hard for me to try to read them, okay? So make sure that you have your iPad over your paper, and you can probably get close enough that it cuts out anything on the sides, just like I do when I take pictures to upload for you, okay? So you're gonna upload that page. And then on the back, let's see, we may have to make some modifications to these as well. It says to solve the problems. Number 9 says draw a line that is longer than 2 cubes but shorter than 6 cubes. So you have the cubes to do that. We don't need to change anything on that one. Then use cubes to measure. So you're going to draw a line. It has to be longer than 2 cubes but shorter than 6 cubes. On number 10, it says to draw a tower that is taller than 3 cubes but shorter than 6 cubes. Then use cubes to measure it and tell me how many cubes long it is. Number 11 says, for item 9, and that's this one, could you have more than one correct answer and explain? Okay, and then on number 12, and this, it's going to depend on what you use here to do that or what you draw. Kylie. Okay, sorry. Number 12, you're going to measure the green line and write the number. So you'll measure the green line with the cubes and then write the number of how many cubes long it is. Okay, if you heard that loud plastic rattling, sorry, Kylie was in the kitchen getting something, and I apologize, but that's going to be on our video. So anyway, have fun measuring and be creative.